Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Shayla. I feel like if you're new, I should tell you a little bit about myself. I'll keep it brief. I am a yoga instructor and yoga lover. I love all things wellness, crystals, manifestation, meditation, routines, self-development, plant-based eating, high vibe living, positive energy, all of the good stuff. Whether you're new or returning, I'm really happy that you're here, and I'm excited for today's video because today we're gonna chat about crystals. If you watched my last vlog, then you know I've recently become super re-inspired to get back into my manifestation practice. I've felt really connected to my crystals, really connected to my meditation practice, and really connected to my spiritual practice. And part of my mindful, high vibe spiritual practice is working with my crystals. I have a mental note of a couple of things that I want to talk to you about in regards to crystals. I want to talk about how I charge and cleanse my crystals, how I choose crystals, how I use crystals in my manifestation practice, as well as how I use crystals in my everyday life. And I thought I would also show you some of my favorite crystals, as well as what crystals I'm personally using in my manifestation practice and how I chose them. So I'm really excited to dive into all things crystals with you in today's video. It's gonna be fun. Grab a cup of tea, grab a coffee, or a glass of wine, whatever your jam is, and let's get into some crystal magic. I feel like I can't do a video about crystals without telling you how I got into crystals, because I always find people's entry points to different modalities and practices so interesting. I have been into crystals for as long as I can remember. Growing up, this sounds so funny, but I used to love collecting rocks. I had a little rock collection, and I remember as young as maybe 7 or 8, my mom and I drove up to LA because I grew up in Orange County, and we went to this really cool spiritual bookstore gift shop called the Bodhi Tree on Melrose Avenue, which sadly it's not there anymore. But I remember going to the Bodhi Tree and picking out crystals, and I got this really beautiful wooden carved box, and I kept all my little crystals in there. And at the time I didn't really know the ins and outs of crystals, but I've always felt this soul deep connection to them and found them so beautiful and intriguing. And my connection and practice with crystals has definitely evolved over time the more I've learned about them. And my practice definitely ebbs and flows when it comes to my crystals, but I can confidently say that I've always felt super drawn to crystals. And that brings me to an important note that I want to make to you as far as crystals go. And I'll get into this a little bit later when we talk about how to choose crystals, but when it comes to crystals, or anything for that matter, don't overcomplicate it. If you think a crystal is beautiful, get that crystal. If you enjoy pulling an oracle card, pull an oracle card, or whatever it is, like whatever practice it is. If you feel drawn to it and you feel connected to it, that to me is an intuitive sign that you should explore and something that you should experiment with. And the reason why I say that is because I think a lot of people get hung up on this idea of, I don't know how to use crystals, or I don't know which crystals to pick. And yes, there are definitely certain crystals that are more vibrationally tuned to certain desires or feelings or ways in which they are typically used for healing. But I think first and foremost, give yourself permission to do the thing that you're drawn to. Pick the crystal that you're drawn to, even if it's just simply for the fact that it's beautiful, because that in itself is a powerful practice. Being able to find beauty in nature and having things of beauty that cultivate feelings of gratitude and admiration for Mother Earth and nature and all of that stuff is really powerful. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. No, I'm just kidding. I just went off on a tangent, but I just wanted to say that though before I forgot about that. Like with everything in this world, crystals are made up of energy. Some crystals are more high vibrational than others. Each crystal is vibrating at its own frequency. And a lot of crystals are used for more specific things like manifesting abundance or heart healing, or they're associated with certain feelings or areas in the body or chakras. And that's because they all have their own vibrational energy. And I think the coolest thing about crystals is, much like humans, each one is beautifully unique and perfectly imperfect. And you can never get two crystals that are exactly the same. They're just so beautiful too. And I think that's one reason why I love keeping crystals around my house and I love working with them. They're beautiful. And when we surround ourselves with beautiful, high vibrational things, it raises our vibration. And that's the whole point of all of these different wellness practices and spiritual practices, is to find equanimity, bring joy to our lives, and to hopefully spread that joy to everyone and everything that we come in contact with. The way I pick my crystals in general is anything that sparks joy or connection within me. If I see a crystal, I'm like, wow, that crystal is so beautiful. And it just shifts your energy. That's typically how I pick a crystal. I do have some favorites like rose quartz and amethyst. I'm drawn to certain colors. But for the most part, I try to just go off my intuition. And I feel like the thing with crystals is that there's a lot of room for you to tap into your intuition and go with your gut and go with what feels good and go with what you feel and think is beautiful. And I love that. There's 3 crystals that I do keep in my home for specific reasons. The first one is shungite. It's this black crystal, and I actually keep this at my desk next to my computer and near my wireless internet router. And the reason for that is because shungite is said to reduce EMF radiation. That's important because we live in a 5G world now. I'm not completely wrapped up in the whole 5G thing, but it is something that I think about, and it's something that I, mildly mindful about. So I love keeping shungite at my desk. The other crystal that I use around my home and in my everyday life is selenite. And selenite is incredible. This is an amazing crystal. I actually use it in 3 different ways. I have this little selenite tower that I keep on my shelves in my bedroom near my meditation corner. And then I also have a selenite tumbled stone that I actually sleep with. Just like leave it in my bed. And then I also have this selenite bowl that I store my manifestation crystals in. And selenite is an incredible crystal because it has super high vibrational, cleansing, purifying energy that is said to remove negative energy, cleanse and purify energy, and just amplify good energy and just raise the vibration. And we love that around here. The last crystal that I use and have around my home is my massive rose quartz crystal that I keep by my bed. And rose quartz is the stone associated with unconditional and universal love. I've had that rose quartz crystal for quite some time. I have a few others that I keep around my house, but I would say shungite, selenite, and rose quartz are my 3 main crystals that I keep in my space and use within my daily life, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about how to use crystals in your manifestation practice. Like I said earlier, some crystals are more vibrationally in tune with certain desires than others. But in picking crystals for my manifestation practice, before I research what crystals are good for what, I like to let my intuition kind of guide me and see what I'm intuitively drawn to. So this practice of intuitively picking crystals is best done if you can go to a crystal shop. But if that's not available to you, you can always order crystals online as well. I like to get my crystals at either Energy Muse, which is an online store. P.S. I've actually had Heather Askinosie, who is the founder of Energy Muse, on the Yoga Inspired Life podcast. She talked all about crystals, setting intentions for crystals, and all of that good stuff. I will link that podcast episode in the description box below. But there's another little crystal shop near my house that I like to go to as well sometimes. But before I even go to the crystal shop and see how I feel and see what I'm drawn to, I first have to get clear about what I desire and what I am manifesting. I feel like I haven't talked about manifestation all that much on my channel in a while, so if you'd be curious to learn more, definitely leave me a comment below and let me know. Once I figure out what it is that I desire and what I'm focusing my energy on manifesting, I make sure that I get clear about how I want to feel, how those desires are going to make me feel. And this is important because you want to list out the feelings so that A, you can start to embody those feelings, because that's how you're going to attract your desires, but also because that's going to help you choose the best crystals for your manifestation practice. You get your desire, you get clear on how your desires are going to make you feel, and then you go to the crystal shop and you look around and you see what's calling your name. What are you vibing with? I like to kind of like not look at the little description card, but just go off of, ooh, that looks pretty, or ooh, I don't know why, but I really like this one. Just kind of see what I'm drawn to. Interestingly enough, most of the time, even though I am just intuitively picking crystals and I don't technically know exactly what that specific crystal is attuned for, I usually end up picking crystals that are spot on with whatever it is that I'm manifesting. And I feel like that's because of my manifestation process and method that I do before. It's so solid that it really does align my energy to what it is I'm manifesting. And so I'm just kind of attracting that similar energy, and I'm just innately drawn to the crystals that are actually gonna vibe with my desires. There's no right or wrong way to use crystals in your manifestation practice, but I do think it's important to get clear about what you want and set intentions for your crystals. Yes, the crystals hold vibrational energy and are attuned to certain desires, but you are the manifester. You are the powerhouse that's going to manifest your desires and all of that good stuff. The crystals are really just a tool for you to use in your manifestation practice. They're not the whole thing. You're the whole thing. They're just an added layer that can make your practice more fun, which is important because when you're having fun, the universe acts fast. Okay, so I want to talk about how I charge and cleanse my crystals, as well as how I set intentions for my crystals. But before I do, I want to show you what crystals I'm personally using in my manifestation practice. All of the crystals that I'm using in my manifestation practice can really be organized into like 5 categories. So for manifesting wealth and abundance, I am using jade, this really beautiful kind of lime green crystal, as well as pyrite, which is super sparkly and just radiates abundance and wealth and prosperity. Then for love, heart healing, self-confidence, all of the heart-related things, I am using rose quartz, pink chalcedony, I think I'm saying that correctly, I could be wrong, pink opal, and pink calcite. For amplifying my manifestations and manifesting as a whole, I'm using citrine, cracked fire agate, and honey calcite. And then for intuition activation, inspiration, and soul purpose alignment, I'm using clear quartz, serpentine, tangerine quartz, and amethyst. And then for cleansing and charging, I'm using this selenite bowl. So as far as setting intentions for each of my crystals, I wrote down in my journal all of my desires. Then I went online and researched each of the crystals and just made some notes about what each crystal is typically used for, what their healing properties are, and what energy they're naturally attuned to. And I just kind of wrote it all out for each crystal, which was kind of a lot, but it was fun. And then I set intentions for each crystal based on 2 things: my desires, as well as the feelings connected to the desires, as well as the crystal's healing properties and uses. So for example, rose quartz is typically used for any matters of the heart: self-love, attracting love, expressing love, heartbreak. Rose quartz is that stone. A desire of mine is to be in a loving and healthy partnership with someone. For this crystal, between my desire and the feelings that I will experience in that healthy, loving partnership, as well as the healing properties of rose quartz, I wrote out an intention, and I'm not going to read my intention to you now because it's personal. But as an example, an intention that I might set with this stone based on the desire and the healing properties would be something like: I give and receive love easily. I attract high vibrational romantic relationships, friendships, and partnerships. You get the vibe. Once I've written out my intention and I've cleansed my crystals and the whole thing, to set the intention on my crystal, I literally just hold it in my hand. Maybe I hold it over my heart, take a couple breaths, connect with my breath, connect with the crystal, and then I literally just mentally and energetically set the intention on the crystal. It's not that complicated. Yes, crystals have their own vibrational energy, but the more you work with your crystals, the more your energy and intentions will start to kind of rub off on the crystal, right? It becomes a partnership. It's a tool. But there's lots of different ways to set intentions with crystals, but for me personally, I like to keep it simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. In my mind and in my world, if I say something is, then it is. That's how I set intentions for my crystals. Charging, cleansing, and purifying the energy of your crystals is important to do as soon as you get your crystal, but it's also important to do whenever you intuitively feel like you need to hit the reset button. I'll just randomly feel like, we need to cleanse these babies. Like, you can just feel the energy. It starts to feel a little stagnant, dull, maybe a little full, and that's the time to charge your crystals, and that's the time to kind of cleanse and purify your crystals. I also like to do it on the full and new moons. I'll put my crystals out on my windowsill. I don't do this super religiously, but that is a time that I like to do that. Told you already about selenite. Selenite is amazing to cleanse and purify the energy in your space, your energetic field, as well as crystals. I got this little selenite bowl from Energy Muse online. This is where I store all of my little manifestation crystals in this bowl to keep them high vibe and cleansed on the regular. The other two ways that I like to cleanse my crystals, putting them out in the sunlight to absorb all of the energy and good vibes from the sun. And then I also like to cleanse them with either Palo Santo or sage. You literally just use the smoke from the Palo Santo or sage and just kind of go around the crystals and blow it on the crystals, and it cleanses and purifies the energy. Also smells incredible. So I like to let the Palo Santo in particular burn for a couple of seconds before I blow it out. And then you can see it's kind of smoking. And then I literally just will like do this to each of my crystals while thinking high vibrational thoughts and with the intention of cleansing and purifying the crystal. Your thoughts and words and feelings and vibes are powerful, you guys. You can cleanse and purify your crystals just by holding them to you and using your own energy, or putting high vibrational music on, megahertz music on, you know, through sound vibration, which brings me to the fact that I got a crystal sound bowl. Maybe I need to play that before I end this video. Like I said, there are a lot of different ways you can cleanse your crystals. I know some people like to use salt water, which is a great way as well. But for me personally, I like to either use Palo Santo or sage, selenite, and sunlight. You could actually also use the smoke from little incense stick as well. It is all about your intention, and it's all about your vibes. The reality is that a crystal is not going to fix your problems. It's not going to mend a broken heart, and the crystal itself is not going to manifest your desires. Sorry, that's the truth though. You, at the end of the day, have the power to mend your broken heart, to feel happy, to choose to be happy. And you, in conjunction with the universe, God, source energy, whatever you want to call it, have the power to manifest your desires. The crystals are just a tool. They're there just to help you and provide inspiration and good vibes on your journey. Oh, it smells so good. I do love an incense stick, I really do. So yeah, like I was saying, you could even use the smoke from this little incense stick to cleanse your crystals. I hope I'm not freaking you guys out. I just realized that I'm that girl. I'm that plant eating, yoga doing, crystal loving hippie. I love it. I'm not mad about it, honestly. I have zero chill and zero shame when it comes to all of my little magical spiritual things. It makes me so happy. Oh, Bali wanted to say hi. Hi, Bali. She was just taking a nap. Penny's coming too. Say hi to our friend on YouTube. Hi. Hi. If you're new to my channel, this is Penny and this is Bali, my two dogs. I got a crystal sound bowl, so I feel like I need to play it for you and send you off with some heart healing good vibes, because I just love you so much. Isn't that literally just like the best vibes? Ooh, my stomach just grumbled, I'm hungry. Anyway, I hope that made your heart happy. It makes my heart happy that you're watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, because I upload 2 videos every single week on Thursdays and Sundays. Plus, I would just love to have you a part of my YouTube family. Again, if you have any questions at all, or if anything that I said wasn't clear, or you want me to expand on something, feel free to leave me a comment below. I would be more than happy to talk more about crystals, because I'm literally obsessed. I hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you in my next video.